What is up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening to some of you on the East Coast. Patrick Curley here, again with the renowned and revered, legendary Gary Shevitz. How you doing, Gary?
I've been working on contracts all day, so I'm a little bit tired around the edges. I was thinking we should be doing these at 7 a.m. when I'm at full energy.
Full capacity? Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's 3 p.m., that's 12 hours after I wake up.
So last week, guys, those of you who were with us, we actually were kind of marketing our last meeting as a action-taking meeting where we were going to take calls, but we fell down a rabbit hole of Q&A. Literally spent over 90 minutes answering questions. So today, what I want to do is I want to kind of cap the Q&A right from the beginning and just push it to the back of this meeting. So if you guys do have questions about real estate, if you've got questions about creative finance, wholesale, anything, how did Gary get so smart with his vocabulary? Am I actually this handsome in real life? If you have questions like that, guys, wait till the very end of the Zoom and we'll answer those questions for you guys. All right. So yeah, let's jump in. I think now is the time. For those of you guys who are here, I appreciate you being on time. The other knuckleheads, we'll let them kind of trickle in as we go. But
If
today,
you've
guys,
got one of those AI bots, don't even think about it. I'm playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah, just kick them if you see them. Today, guys, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna talk a little bit about creative finance. One of my favorite strategies is low equity subject twos. I really have had luck with it. I prefer that target. So we're going to talk about that today, just so we're all on the same page before I actually start making some phone calls. And then what we'll do is you'll have me on live calls. You'll see me actually have those conversations. All right, so we're going to do that today. Cool. Let's dive in. I'm going to just share my screen real fast.
So I think I got one of those under contract.
What, a Subto?
Direct to agent, low equity Subto. Turns out VA loan 3.01%.
Where is it at?
In Palm Desert, and
the
it's a VA loan. The guy's going into assisted living, so he doesn't need that loan anymore, or the entitlements.
You can't tease me before I go into teaching about low equity, Gary. You gotta,
Mark Ampel passed this up, but I gave it to another Subto student.
Man,
it's a good deal. Really nice condo, sweet, 2-bedroom, beautifully redone, very nice.
Well, if it's not available to me, I don't want to hear any more about it.
I like making you jealous.
You're just kind of trying to keep me on the line. All right, let's dive into this. All right, guys. So in order for you guys to really start calling on creative deals specifically subject to, you're going to have to kind of understand equity. This is just a very simple little diagram here. The value of this house is $300,000. They owe $240 on it. I don't know if you guys can see that little thing or not, but and then they have paid down $60K, or they have $60K in equity, right? So if they were to cash out, this is $60K of equity that they would pocket. The other $240 would go to the loan. All right. So that's basically the difference between the mortgage and the value of the home is going to be their remaining equity. So real simple breakdown. All right. Now, so when I'm calling on potential low equity subject twos, essentially what I want to do is I want to kind of quickly calculate that number, and I refer to it as equity at ask. So if we have an asking price of 300, I generally take about 10% of the transaction cost away from that. So that would be 30K. Now this 10% is going to vary, guys. Like, it's going to vary state to state, but I'm just doing kind of like a broad stroke. This is the number that I'm coming in at. At the end of the day, I'm making an offer, right? So that's kind of what you'll hear me on the phone say, okay, this is the gross proceeds that you would get, which is 270. So we're basically taking the 10% off this 300, subtracting that number. We got the gross proceeds at 270. And then let's say we have an open loan at 240. Then their net or their equity at ask is 30K. Okay, so now on a lot of these other Zooms, you may have heard that part of our criteria for buying creative deals is we want to be about 3% all in for an entry fee. So assuming that this home is in great condition, this might be a deal at 30K. All right. So let me pause there, and I will allow questions on what we're talking about today, but I don't want to go again down a rabbit hole. Does this make sense, guys? Or do you guys have any questions about that? I went over that pretty quick. Say yes in the comments if it makes sense, guys. Okay, cool. So most of us know how to calculate equity. Fantastic. Good. So you should be able to do this on a piece of paper real quick, right? Just jotting this down. You should be able to do it on a call. You're basically just taking 10% of that asking price, you're subtracting it, and then you're taking whatever's on the note and you're subtracting it from the gross proceeds, which gives you your net. All right. So in a phone call, I would say, well, John, it looks like your seller's asking price is 300. You know, after the sale of this property at your ask on market, gross proceeds would be at 270. It looks like there's an open loan here, John, at 240. So after all is said and done, your seller would walk with 30K. I'd be more than happy to give that to your seller and pay all closing costs and your commission as well. Is that something that you might be open to? And then I let them talk. So Mike Curley, yes, that's correct. 10% entry fee.
Or less.
Or ideally less. Yeah, ideally less. It's kind of the top line. In some cases, we will go over. It just all really depends, guys. All right, so that's a basic look at equity and calculating equity at ask, which is going to be a prerequisite for you guys if you're going to be calling on these Subto deals. All right, so now let's talk about how this works in terms of what I'm doing. And again, you don't have to necessarily do what I'm doing, but if you want to do it at a high level, this is how it would look. So what I'm doing on day one is I'm pulling listings from the MLS, right? So the two targets that I generally go after are 60 plus days on market. That's what DOM stands for. Oh, why don't I press the present button? There we go. Now all this stuff is off my screen. And then expired listings. So expired listings are listings that have failed. In other words, somebody was listing their property on the MLS, and for whatever reason, they were unable to sell. Okay, so those are the two targets that I'm pulling. And then once we have those lists, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that information and I'm going to put it into Google Sheets. And there's something called an APN or a parcel number. This is like a social security number for a property, guys. Every parcel has a number associated to it, and it's like an identifier for that property. We take that APN and we feed it into PropStream. Okay, if you're not
Who
familiar,
taught you how to do this, Patrick?
I know a very smart man by the name of Mr. Shevitz, Gary Shevitz. He's well known in the community, guys. Pretty smart guy. You should reach out to him.
You know what? I bet I could get him to demo this if we want to take the time to do that. But let's make a couple calls. I want to make sure we get those in.
100%. Yeah, so once we have that information, guys, once you have your amazing realtor take time out of his busy day to give you that information, then we're going to put it into a Google Sheet. We're going to make sure it matches the format of PropStream once it's in PropStream. Then what we're looking at is we're filtering by, number one, is it on market or expired? And I'm literally having somebody manually go through and see this. They're searching the property just to...
Wait. What do you mean you got a on market? Or you're only pulling, the expired. Well, but you're not going to put those are going to be separate lists.
They are, but what we want to do is we want to verify, guys. So basically, what could happen is it could be purely time event.
So you want to verify the expireds because those could be relisted.
Well, we want to verify either on market or expired because an on market might have become an expired listing, right? So we just want to verify that where it is because sometimes it's not 100%, guys. Like you just got to go through it and check it. Then when we're filtering, what we want to do is we want to filter 20% is the maximum amount of equity they have. And we're also looking for VA, FHA, and conventional loans. and we're not looking at variable loans. So I don't think you're able to filter. I could be wrong for variable loans, but when we're manually going through and entering these in, if it says variable, I'm not taking it. All right.
Oh, you can just filter for the types of loans you want. You don't
Yeah.
need to exclude them.
Well, these are the ones that I'm looking for, but
Right.
variables will pop up in these as well. And sometimes it's an additional loan. Okay, so once we have this, guys, once we have this list inside of PropStream, we're actually going to enter this information into the CRM. We're going to enter the contacts into the pipeline. This, again, if you're doing things at a high level, guys, that you're organized, and if you're trying to close a lot of deals, multiple deals every month, you got to be organized. You got to be going through a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages. Okay. So once I have them all in there, I'm going to calculate the equity at ask. I actually didn't do that today on these. Sometimes I'll go through on the notes and do it before I make the call. I'm actually going to do it live on these calls while I'm on the phone with them. All right. I'm going to call them and get the 4 pillars. And then I'm going to pitch the terms. And if it's a yes or a maybe, I'm actually going to go through and make sure that I comp it and make sure that it cash flows. Okay. Now, if it does, I'm going to send an email to this agent and I'm going to say, thank you for taking my call the other day. As we talked about on the phone, here is a brief recap of what we talked about. Here is all the numbers broken down. This is what your seller is going to net. This is my offer. Okay.
Jermaine
All right.
has a really good question. He's surprised that you're going through the realtor with expired. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah. Okay. So the reason that oh no. So Jermaine, I think you're mistaken. So I'm going to be calling realtors on market properties. With off market properties, I'm going straight to seller. Is that his question?
That was his question. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's in some cases, Jermaine, you can. If so let's say I go direct to seller and I'm just not able to get somebody on the phone, then yeah, I'll call the agent and be like, hey, are you still in contact with your seller? Because I'd be interested to purchase the property at ask. And then generally when you say that, if they're still in good standing with that client, they'll be more than happy to get that person on the phone. Usually they're really excited to hear that. Cool. All right. No other questions, guys?
We're
All
good.
right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get on the phone. What do you think? Let's see.
What are you waiting for?
Right. What are you waiting for? All right, let me see if I can pull somebody up here. All right. Am I still sharing my screen? No, I'm not.
No, no.
All right, guys,
Did
we've
you
got
want to be?
not necessarily. We might have already
This
called.
little interlude is brought to you by the letter A regular here in this Zoom. That's our Sesame Street moment, folks.
Actually, I don't want to get in trouble from YouTube. They took one of my other videos down because I was sharing information.
Oh yeah, really? What information? The street address?
Just like names and numbers and stuff like that. They don't like that. All right, I'm gonna give this person a call.
Don't be a YouTube scofflaw. So you know they're using AI. Yeah, Jeff, I wouldn't rely on PropStream's MLS data.
Hey, Tony, this is Patrick Curley. Can you hear me okay?
Patrick, who?
My name is Patrick Curley. I'm calling about your listing on Congress Avenue. Do you have a minute? A couple minutes?
Yep.
Sorry to call you out of the blue here. I'm just taking a look. This property looks like exactly what I'm looking for. I just have a few quick questions. This looks pretty retail ready. Is there anything I need to know about the foundation or the roof? Are there any major repairs needed? Okay.
And the foundation, all of that is in the disclosures. I can email to you, but it's moving ready. It's nothing not livable or unable to be. It's habitable. You know, like you could definitely live in the place.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm looking for actually rentals in the area, and this one came across my desk. An associate brought this one to me. I'm just curious. I mean, this looks beautiful. Do you know why they're selling?
Moved out of the area.
Oh, I
So
see. I'm sorry, go ahead. Tony, are you still there? Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. I'm sorry, you said they were maybe they got a divorce, now they're heading out of state.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Up the area. That someone out of the area.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then so this is vacant.
Yeah, owner vacant.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right. So is there a specific timeline associated with this, or are you guys just trying to sell it whenever you can? I see it's on market for 108 days. I'm just curious why it hasn't sold.
I'm going to the area that's kind of top. You said, say that again.
I'm just curious. Do you know why it hasn't sold? It's been 108 days. I'm wondering.
Prime location, I think is, centrally located, not too far from both 880 and 580. We've gotten feedback that it's next to a restaurant. And then also that, the backyard is a smaller backyard. It's not a huge, if you're looking for like a larger size backyard, this is not the property. Or like a little, where you can do a barbecue grill and have like a outdoor shooting area for. So it's not like a backyard for like kids to go outside and play or whatever. So it's really a low maintenance that's interested in having to, do the gardening or whatnot.
Right. Okay. Cool. So let me tell you what it is that I do and what I'm looking for. I own a company and we flip properties all over the country. And I'm partners with two of the biggest buyers in California and in the Sun Belt. And so we're searching for properties similar to this one where there's low or no equity. And what we can do in situations like this is pay out equity and pay all closing costs associated with the property. So it looks like your seller is asking 680. Is that still the case?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so gross proceeds after that sale would be around 612. And I'm seeing an open loan here for, actually, I'm seeing an open loan for 612. So it looks like there's very low or no equity in this case. Would your seller be open to me paying them cash, paying your commission and paying all closing costs and assuming this loan? Sure.
So, I definitely want to run it before, we made any decision.
Right.
But it would be worth it for you to buy at least some information. So when I can have a look at it with, like I said, my
100%. Yeah, I'd want to make sure that you're comfortable with the transaction and you have all the information going in so that you can convey this accurately to your seller. So we do these transactions a lot. And I mentioned that just so you know that what I would do in this case is I would bring in my agent and I would pay him out of my pocket, so it wouldn't affect your commission at all. And he would handle all the paperwork. And then we can open escrow with a title company that understands how to run this transaction.
Got you. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's my already write it down and give me some more information.
Yeah. Okay. There's one thing I did want to make sure that I explain to you, and this is a big point. So we're a pretty large company, and in order for us to scale, we have to assume these loans subject to. And what that means is the loan would remain in the seller's name, and we would be servicing that loan through a licensed servicing company. And then we would take title in our entity name. So that's in a general sense how the structure of the transaction looks. But again, we're going through escrow and title, everything's legal, and this is a sanctioned transaction through the government.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you could send me over email with all that information on it, that would be great.
Great. Give me one sec. Let me see if oh, you know what? I don't have your email. Could you text me to this number what your email is? And then what I'll do is I'll just email you a recap of our conversation. I'll also attach some company information so that you can see that we're a legitimate company that's buying all over the States. And then I'll CC my agent as well so that we can continue the conversation. Love it. Tony, thank you so much. One other thing I would mention, and I know it's not always easy to do, but if we could get on a conference call with you and your seller once you've gone through the information and you feel comfortable with it, I would love to do that so that we can answer any questions that they may have. Thank you so much for your time, Tony. I'll talk to you soon. You too. Bye now.
Patrick, you need to get the bottom of the phone closer to the head of the microphone. We're not really hearing a lot of that conversation.
Hold on. I can't hear you. Are you on mute, Gary?
No, can you hear me? I'm not on mute. Can anybody else hear me?
I can't hear you. Oh, I can hear you now.
Everybody else can hear me. Yeah, you got to get the bottom of the phone closer to the microphone.
Were you guys not able
It's
to
the
hear that?
bottom. It comes out the bottom, right?
Uh-oh.
The sound comes out the bottom of the microphone.
I had it flipped. Did you guys not hear any of that conversation?
It was really hard. But yeah, the sound comes out the little hole at the bottom.
Yeah, I know. I had it flipped.
Obviously.
I think it's just this condenser mic is just like you have to be speaking right into it. I'll adjust
Well,
it.
that all quality podcaster type microphones are built like that, not to pick up all the extraneous noise.
All right. So do we offer cash on this deal to seller?
No, it's
Okay, so that's generally what I'll do is I'll break down the equity in the call. And in this call, there really was no equity. So I didn't really make an offer. What I will do in my email is give them an offer. What company info are you sending with the LOI? Nathan, we've created some company information in a PDF format that gives them all of Pace's information, my information. It tells them who they are. It has a list of subsidiaries that we use, and it shows them deals that we've done in the past that have been creative deals. All right, so basically, guys, what you may have noticed on that call is, was I trying to get a yes or no? In the chat, was I trying to get a yes or no?
Is building rapport.
That's right. Right. So all I really wanted to do was introduce myself. Remember, when you talk to anybody, whether it's a seller or an agent, they're asking themselves two questions. What do you want? What's in it for me? Guys, write that down. What do you want? What's in it for me? Right. And if you don't get to the point of what's in it for them and what you want in a very concise manner, you're going to break rapport. right? If you keep asking questions that don't relate to what it is that you're there in the first place, it's just not gonna pan out. So you've noticed that I went through the 4 pillars. How fast did I go through those 4 pillars, guys? Pretty damn fast, right? I want to get that out of the way. I want to get it out of the way so they know that, okay, he is doing his due diligence. He's not just like, coming in here and pitching from the hip without even knowing what he's getting himself into. But you notice what she said when I asked her about the roof and the foundation, guys? It's in the disclosures. You're going to hear that a lot. So you go, great, I'll send you my information after the call. And you keep asking questions. Don't let agents shut you down, guys. Keep asking the questions, because again, if you don't have those 4 pillars, 5 pillars, occupancy was one of them, then you don't have an opportunity. You don't have a lead. I had a student text me the other day and he said, hey, I got this property. It's an address, this address, and it's a beautiful home. And there's a 3.25% loan on it. I just wanted to make you aware of this lead. And I said, cool. Did you call him? And he goes, no, I haven't made the call yet. And I said, you don't have a lead. You have an address. What am I supposed to do with this address? Like, you guys got to call. You got to make these calls.
By the way, cousin Curly's asking a good question here. We call it a non-qualified assumption, Mike. It's a assumed subject to, not a qualified assumption, in which case, in these days, assuming someone else's loan is extremely rare. Some VA loans are assumable, but only a handful of those. And they're mainly assumable so that they're designed that way so other vets can assume them, although you don't need to be a vet to assume them or active duty.
And that's another thing you guys may have noticed. I first said, this is how it works. I'm going to assume the loan. I'm going to pay your commission. Is that something that you might be open to? And then she said, maybe. And I said, great. And then we talked a little bit more about who I am, what I do, my authority, all of that. Am I reputable? Am I a real business, right? And then at the end, before she hung up, I said, before I let you go, I got to make sure you understand one thing. And I let her know that we will be assuming this subject too. The loan will remain, in the seller's name, and we will take title in our entity. We do this all the time. It's a legal transaction. So she understands that. So it's not a bait and switch. So she doesn't go through this conversation not having that information. Okay, guys? All right.
So just to add a story, I was working with the realtor recently. I am a realtor, and I have a pending deal in front of them, but I didn't get into the subject to stuff until I handed her a full price offer along with offering to pay all the seller's closing costs, including transfer taxes. And that conversation has been going on for 2 days. And I still have to get past the realtor to get the signature on the offer. So just so you can see, even with an offer in hand, this takes a while. So what Patrick is doing is starting that warming process. Got her warm to the idea. So this takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, guys, at least weeks. I mean, it's not going to be overnight. But you got to plant the seed and then you follow up. Plant the seed, follow up. All right. I'm going to call one more time.
Are you using PACE? You're still using PACE in your credibility stuff?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I tell people we're partners. Yeah.
Jermaine's asking, when we don't have authority like your company, how do you handle that part of the conversation? You bullshit your way through it, Jermaine.
Jermaine, you're partners with me. What are you talking about? Use me. Guys, if you're calling on these, who are you bringing it to? You're bringing it to me. So you're partners with me, who's partners with Pace. And that's legitimate.
Yeah, we're daisy chaining the partnership.
100%. It's going back to, it's coming back around to Pace anyways, right? So it's like, he doesn't mind. We've already closed the deal together.
You got a reference, you got an agent that can do the paperwork and stuff? If you're talking about me, right?
100%.
No problem.
100%. This is how it works, guys. Okay, I'm gonna call one more.
Bottoms up, Patrick.
Hello?
Hi, Lucy. This is Patrick Curley. I'm calling about your listing on Jefferson Street.
Okay, let me open the door for you, okay?
I'm not actually there to walk in. I'm just calling you because I have a few questions. Do you have a moment to talk?
Sure.
Do you have an appointment right now?
So right now, what do you mean? So right now, just already show the property.
Okay, I'm just calling. I have a few quick questions. It's for sale still, correct?
Right.
Okay, great. Well, I'm looking for a property in this area, and this one came across my desk. I'm just curious. It looks like it's in fantastic condition. Are there any repairs that I need to know about?
Pretty good, really good condition. So far, I just let you know, yesterday I'm doing the open house, 3 different clients really interesting for this property. I just let you know, okay? So you daddy, you sold the property for your daddy, is that correct, or for your class?
I don't understand. I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry. So you are going to sell the property.
I'm not an
to
agent.
daddy?
I'm a buyer.
Oh, you are buyer. So what I'm saying, are you agent? No, you are buyer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, do you have an agent?
I do. He's not as handsome as I am, but he's pretty good with paperwork.
Okay. Okay. So your agent not call me. If you call me, whatever. Did you see the property yet or not?
No,
Okay.
I've just seen pictures of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So are you? I just ask you a few questions. So are you doing the loan, or are you going to I put this property? I'm sorry, I just
No,
asked you a few questions.
that's okay. We pay all cash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just let you know some people interested for the property. If you are really interested, just let your agent bring you to see the property as soon as possible. Okay. And I already have the disclosed package. Then you can make action as soon as possible.
That sounds good.
For this property is pretty good. Yeah, really
Right.
good.
Can I ask you a few?
And,
Can I ask you a few
okay.
quick questions before I let you go?
Mm-hmm.
This looks vacant. Is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And I'm just curious. This looks like a really nice apartment. Do you know why they're selling?
Another one, I don't know.
You don't know why they're selling?
So, no, what I'm saying, I know my apartment to sell it. And if you have some question, I really want to let your agent bring you to see the apartment. Okay?
Yeah, the thing is, Lucy, is I'm extremely busy. And I just want to ask you a few quick questions to make sure that this fits my criteria. If not, I can move on. If it does, I'll make you an offer. Can I just ask you a few quick questions before I let you go?
So go ahead.
Okay, great. What's the timeline associated with the sale of this property? How fast are you trying to sell?
So I just tell the truth. I can answer your question, but for the subject by the rule, if you are buyer, you have an agent. The best way is your agent to be talk to me. So this is really, really, the on the dead close, to talk to you. But right now, your question is, could you repeat one more time?
Yeah, I'm just curious how fast your seller wants to close. The reason that I asked, Lucy, is I'm purchasing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you should ask your agent how many days you should be, how far you close. So if some people maybe 8 days, some people 10 days, or 12 days close. But right now this property is vacant. It's good for you. Anytime to close.
So they want to close as fast as possible. Is that what I'm hearing?
I didn't ask them, but
okay.
Yeah, of course.
It
Yeah.
sounds like you don't know. That's okay. I'm just curious. Okay. Well, let me tell you what I'm looking for before I let you go. We're picking up properties all over California right now, and we're looking for properties that have low equity. This seems to be one of those properties. So in these cases, what we do is we pay out any equity that's involved in the property. We pay your commission, and then we pay all closing costs associated with the sale of the property. Do you think your seller may be open to something like that, a transaction where we assume their loan and pay out their equity?
I can give you this answer. If you are really good buyer, if you have an agent, like your agent out to me, okay? If you are ready to buy, first thing you have to see the property. Second, you are a buyer, right? You can make a decision, and like your agent putting on the offer and submit to offer to my email.
Right.
Okay. So I am the agent. I just talk to the agent to agent. I'm not talk to you. I just let you know. Okay.
Got it. Okay, Lucy, thank you so
Got it?
much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think she'd like you to have me call her, Patrick.
That's the kind of agent you don't want to work with, guys. That agent will never get it. So I'm gonna pass on that one.
See, it's okay to disqualify based on the agent, the property, and move through these quickly. Don't linger just because you got someone who'll talk to you.
Yeah, by the way, guys, when an agent says that that's not how things work, or it's illegal for me to talk to her, she has no idea what she's talking about. Like, and it's just going to be more of that if I try to force this transaction to happen. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that sit on the market for probably another 60 days. And then I'm going to call her again and say, hey, Lucy, do you remember me? Yeah, I was the guy who was ready to buy that property 60 days ago. And you said that my agent should give you a call. Well, I'm calling you again because this property hasn't gone anywhere. And I'd really like to talk about this. And if she doesn't want to talk to me then, I'm just going to go around her. I'm just going to call the seller and be like, your agent's blocking me, just so you know. Actually, I don't like to do that, guys. I'll be very honest with you. I do not like to go around agents. I don't want to go around agents. I want them to get paid, and I'm more than happy to pay them. But if they're standing directly in my way of what I want, I'm going to go around them. And generally what I do in that conversation is I go, hey, I'm sorry I'm calling you. I've been having trouble getting a hold of your agent. How has it been so far working with that agent? And I let them talk. If they have a great experience, well, hey, if it's okay with you, I'd like to have a conversation with you. If they don't have a great experience, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I've also not had a great time speaking with the agent, and now I'm calling you. And that's how I generally handle it. It's a very low percentage, guys. Most of these agents will talk to you. Most of these agents, like, they'll play ball. But that one was just horrible. All right. Any questions so far, guys? Why don't you you're on mute.
Yeah,
Why don't you bypass so Jermaine asked, why don't you just bypass the realtor from the jump? Because I respect them. Because guys, once you start getting into this business, you're going to realize that sourcing an opportunity is the hardest part. And being an agent, a good agent, is freaking difficult, in my opinion. It's tough because you're dealing with sellers who are difficult, and then you're dealing with buyers who are difficult. You're chasing down signatures. I mean, I'm not an agent, but Gary can speak to this. If I can, I'm going to get them paid.
But if you do get a good working relationship with an agent and you close the deal, they'll keep bringing them to you.
100%.
And then you got to, then is it really that the hardest part, or is dispo the hardest part? I still think dispo's the pivotal cause here.
When you get it dialed in, it depends if we're talking cash or creative. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I mean, if it's creative, I think you really got to have your buyers already lined up. It's not like cash. We could find a buyer for a cash deal, no problem, out of the blue, just because we've got our systems in place. We know what to look for. But with creative, I feel like if you don't have a buyer in place, then you're just wasting time. All right. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Let's make another call. And if you're not taking notes, I don't know what you're doing here. I hope you guys are taking notes. Another one in Oakland. Let's take a look. Jamar. Give me 1 second, guys.
You don't have them racked up, ready to go.
No, they're in my phone. I've got to look at my CRM and then do this unless, or I can't do it on a speaker. Hey, Jamar, can you hear me okay? Hey, Jamar, this is Patrick. Can you hear me okay? What? Let's try this one more time.
Going back to Jamar.
Yeah. All right, he's not picking up.
He doesn't like you anymore.
I'm gonna text him. Where's his address?
Are you asking about how to market it, J. Dietrich Woodard?
What's the question?
Just circulating it in the community. It's kind of a statement question. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, that's one way.
I mean, basically, there's that, and like I know the guys who are doing this, like who are displaying a lot of these deals, the creative ones, and so I'll just reach out to them, or if it's in an area, I'll just buy it. Like I'll just buy it.
Well, for me, I have a list of people who want deals, so with the one that I expect to have under contract today or tomorrow, I offered it to my favorite buyers.
Not me.
Well, what we've done, Jakima, what we've done is we've sifted through the data to know that these are low equity. So it's very purposeful how we're going about this. Maybe I should show this to them at some point, Patrick.
Yeah, that's fine. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make another call. I want to see them. I want them to see me taking action so they know that they can do it too. Mute you real fast.
Brittany wants to know, do you always leave a message or text? When I'm calling agents, I do, because because I want to follow up on those properties. And as Patrick points out, we put them in the CRM, so that's.
Hello, this is Lupe.
Hey, Lupe, this is Patrick Curley. I'm calling about your listing in Hayward. How are you?
Very good, you?
I'm fantastic. Do you have a couple of minutes to chat?
Yes.
Beautiful.
How can I help you?
Beautiful. Yeah. So I'm looking for a property in this area and this looks great. I'm actually searching for a rental property. This looks like maybe they just cleaned it up a bit, did a little bit of updates. Can you tell me, are there any major repairs that I need to know about?
No, to be honest, the seller bought this property last year in August, if I don't get off of my mind. They buy it because the job is in the Bay Area. So
Okay.
for some reason, they're moving to the Central Valley. So it's going to be commute for 1 or 1.5 hours. So that's why the reason they're selling it. When they buy it, it was already like in good condition. So they didn't do any repairs, anything to the property since it's like less than a year that they buy it. And the people who live in the property, there's only adults. So the property is very well maintained.
Okay. I'm sorry. You said there's somebody living in it right now?
Yes, the owner lives in the property.
Oh, I
I
see.
guess he was asleep and the dog
There's
died
no
too.
adults.
But with him,
So
with his feet on.
there's no kids around the property, so it's well maintained.
Okay, cool. And so I'm just curious. I mean, this is a nice looking property. You said he's selling it because he's not in the area anymore?
He needs to move for the job. We're gonna move him to the Central Valley. So
Got it.
he went to the Central Valley is like an hour and 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depends. If with traffic, it's almost 2.5 hours. So he decided to buy in Central Valley area.
Got it. Okay. And then so how fast is he trying to sell?
The fastest he can.
Okay, got it.
So at first he says, I'm gonna need time to move out and this and that. But now he's like, it doesn't matter if you told me that we can close in 20 days, so we can move.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So let me kind of tell you who I am and what I'm looking for. I'm partners in a company where we're buying all over the country. We basically flip properties in California and all over the Sun Belt. And we're also picking up rentals aggressively this year to offset our taxes for tax depreciation reasons. And so part of what we're looking for are properties with low or no equity. And it seems like this is one of those cases. It looks like your asking price is at $580.
All right.
And it also looks like there is a note on the property for $525. So there's not a lot of equity in this situation, but what I would be able to do is I could pay out the equity that is currently here. I could pay your commission and all closing costs associated with the sale of this property. And then I would assume that loan. Is that something that you and your seller might be open to?
We already talked about it with somebody else regarding this. And unfortunately, that doesn't work for my client because he expected to receive a couple of money for buying the property in the Central Valley.
So you're saying he needs the proceeds of this sale to move to another property?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I still don't see the problem. It's about money?
It's about money.
Well, we would be able to give him.
Because we received an offer, like a verbal offer before, same as yours.
Well, I haven't made you an offer yet.
Yes.
I haven't made you an offer yet. But I'm just
so,
curious because generally, Lupe, in these situations, the seller usually nets more. Because I'm not going to be working him on price. I'm actually going to give him his price. And we can move that money once it's in escrow to the new escrow, the new property that he's purchasing. We do it all the time.
Okay. So send me an offer and then I can present it to him. I can talk to him, everything, and hopefully we can work together.
Yeah, you know what I'll do, Lupe? Again, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. What I can do is I'll send you some company information and I'll send you just like some basics in terms of what it looks like and how much we could pay him out. And I'll explain how we could transfer that money from our escrow to his in the new property. Does he already have that property picked out?
We already looked at a couple of properties,
Oh, good.
but since we're not in escrow, we can get in escrow here. either.
Oh, good. You're making money on this one and the next one. I love it.
Yes, correct.
Good for you, girl. You gotta always.
I know. Yeah, I know this family for 5 years already, and I'm
Oh.
working with them for a while. So
Fantastic, fantastic.
yeah.
Okay, well, I do want to make sure it's a fit for them and your friends. So what I'll do is I'll send you some company information. I'll send you some basic information. Now, with these transactions, Lupe, the way that we handle it is I have an agent on my side. However, I'm going to pay him out of my pocket to handle all of the paperwork and the transaction. I will also CC him on this email so that if you have any questions for him, feel free to reach out. And ideally, what I would love to do is to continue the conversation with your seller and possibly get on a conference call so that I could answer any questions that they may have.
How much do you think you're going to offer for this?
Well, I will give him his equity at ask. How's that sound?
Okay.
I will give him what he would net today at his asking price.
Okay.
Does that?
I can tell him right now this conversation. I can have the same conversation with him. But as I told you, I have almost the same conversation before, and he decided to stay in the market for a while. But I can explain what you just told me, and he's the one who's gonna take the decision if he wants to make a phone call with you.
Absolutely, and that's really my only hopes. I'm just looking at the listing history here, Lupe, and it says it's been on the market for 132 days. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
I'm not sure if staying on the market's going to change, right? I mean, we're just about leaving the seasonality of the market, so it's going to cool off in terms of the season. If it would have sold, it would have probably been under contract in 45 days, as you and I already know.
Yes, I already explained to him so many times. But yeah, he's willing for more money. That's the only thing that I can tell you.
Okay.
We receive an offer for $565, and he didn't want to go on contract.
Well, if he
to buy
received
the property for that amount,
if he received an offer today for 580, would he take it?
I guess so.
Okay. Well, that's what the asking
Yes.
price is listed at.
Yes. I guess so that he's gonna be able to do that.
Okay. Well, I can give him that, and I can even get a net sheet from escrow to show you that that's what he would net, if that helps.
That sounds awesome for me. So if you can do that, I can present verbally what you want to do and what the offer is gonna be, and he's the one who's gonna take the decision.
Fantastic. Okay, Lupe, I'll tell you what, can you do me a favor? Because I don't have your email here. If you can text me your email, I'll send all that information over to you, and I'll also CC my agent.
Okay, and this is the best phone number that I can find you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, hold on. 650, 850, 53, right?
That's correct. That's my CRM, but it's linked to my cell phone. So if you text it, it'll come straight to my cell phone.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Lupe, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can get this deal closed so you can make money on this one and the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Did you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, Cindy's asking you to break this down. What do you mean, Cindy? In what way?
Sorry. Well, obviously the guy has low equity, right? So if he got an offer for 650 and then and he has no equity in it, I guess what I'm confused about is Patrick offered to pay off the equity, right? To pay him the ask equity. She didn't seem to understand that, but then he went and said the same thing by saying, okay, well, I'll offer 680, right? Which is kind of the same. So I'm just trying to understand. It seems like the same thing, but I want to understand the breakdown. That's all.
Well, let's look at it this way. Agents aren't always used to hearing things stated the way Patrick was stating it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not, they're many of them are just used to hearing asking price, offer price.
Some of them don't even know their seller has no equity.
Right.
And I'm not even being sarcastic. I just want to make sure I understand. So you had the asking price, you took 10% off, you had the gross proceeds, and then you had some sort of open loan to figure out what his equity was, right? The ask equity. So he had some equity. So you're basically going to offer to pay that, offer to pay all the commissions, and that's what the offer is going to look like, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
So I'm going to pay out equity. And
Yeah.
in some cases, there is no equity.
Right.
And I show him, look, you got zero equity here. Or in this case, he's got negative $3,000 in equity.
Is there any case where you guys would offer cash, even though there was no, if you really wanted it bad enough, if there was no equity, just to take it over as a sub two, or that would just be stupid?
Well, you
No.
it's either or, right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, if there's zero or negative equity, I still want it. It's
Okay.
still worth it to me, because in a lot of those cases, let's give you an example where it's not a deal. Let's say I needed to put $50,000 into the property. Let's say the floors are all torn up and there's holes in the wall, and I need to put maybe 50 to 60K into it, and they've got zero equity, right? At that point, I might say this isn't a deal for me, because I don't want to give him 5 to 10K equity, cash, then pay 50 to 60 just to fix the property up, then pay commissions, then pay closing. At that point, it's way over my 10% mark. But the property that I'm looking at, it's like retail ready. It's move-in ready. So I could literally get a renter in there like, this month. And yeah, at that point, I'm willing to pay him 10K, 15K. And at
Okay.
that price point, I'm going to be paying another 10, 12, something like that to the agent in closing. Then I got to pay Gary for his tacos.
Sushi.
Oh, sushi. Oh, this is going to cost me.
Yeah. No, I'm not asking you to take me out to Nobu on your break. I don't look for that kind of money. Look at it this way, guys. I said to my seller, we put in the offer on this Subto deal, and I do think we're going to get it because it's been on the market for 3 months and it hasn't sold, and the they need to sell. But I said we're going to go in with I suggested we go in with a full price offer, and he's like, why? Because you're benefiting from this so freaking much. How is that? Every month you make a payment with this 3% VA loan, you're saving yourself 10 grand. How long does it take to pay back some closing costs, a commission, and I'm working on another deal with another Subto student who's selling his own house Subto. And the buyer, because of the great rate he has on his loan, and it's $1 million house almost, that buyer will save $2,000 a month as long as they're paying on that loan, compared to what they'd have to pay if they got a new loan today. That's huge money.
Yep. And that's why I'm trying to do at least one of these a month.
Right?
At least one. All right.
Is there a video showing us what you're doing with all of this? Because obviously you're getting all this rental income. Someone's managing all this, right? Like, who's managing? You're doing all these houses.
100%. I don't ever manage my own properties. Some of them break even in the first year, but I don't care.
Why would you spend time managing properties when
No, I'm saying this. I wasn't saying he would be. I'm saying he must
Right.
have a team that manages this. Okay.
Yeah, every
or,
property has
just hire a property manager. But what's Patrick's best use of time?
selling.
Acquiring more properties.
Oh, right.
Selling.
Yeah, and so like my girlfriend acts as like the liaison between me and my managers, because she's really good about being on top of what's happening now, and she just lets me know if I need to take action on things. And so she's kind of like my executive assistant. Then I've got a manager. But yeah, like in terms of creative finance, in terms of Subto, there's some videos, wholesaling and how to structure your business. I'll post them in the chat, check them out. I think those are pretty good resources. Gary's also in those videos dropping knowledge bombs as usual. All right, let's make another call, unless there's any questions. Jakima said, for the most part, are you offering full price or close to full price with Subto? I'm typically offering equity at ask. That's what I'm typically offering, unless we get into talks I don't ever, when I negotiate price, we're already at the negotiating table. So I generally don't try to work them at price until I get a yes to the idea of subject to. The only time I'm going to work them on price is if they're way over on what they think the retail value is, and or there is considerable renovations that need to be done, because that's going to be factoring into my 10%. All right, I'm going to call this guy. He's being one of those agents who wants to do everything through text, and that's not how daddy rolls. I'm going to call him right now. Give me 1 second. Let me see who this guy is. Okay, let's give him a call.
Five 1 0 7 0 6 3.
This guy does not want to make money. I'm going to text him, I'm driving. It's easier to talk. That's one of the things that I'll do if they don't want to get on the phone. I'm actually going to move on. To be honest, I don't want to pay somebody to do their job. Like, I'm moving on. Calling this other guy. This guy can just, and if you're going to hire an agent, guys, be careful who you hire. Vet them. Call them, see if they pick up their phone.
Five 1 0 5 1 6.
This is what I'm talking about.
You know, a lot of people screen, you know that. Cold callers will triple dial, but I prefer to just follow up with a text.
Five 1 0 5.
Next.
I don't know what you mean by network, Jermaine, but I know
This is
it.
what you're going to have to deal with, guys. Some agents just don't pick up their phone. You got to try different times of the day.
I think it's crazy because you're in the phone
Yeah,
call
can do that.
business. And, you know, I grit my teeth because I know I probably don't want to talk to whoever's on the other end, but I answer anyway. Then I push the block button.
Another one in Oklahoma.
That's true.
Hey, Maria, this is Patrick Curley. I'm calling about your listing in Oakland. Do you have a minute?
Yes, it's available.
Fantastic. That's what I love to hear. I just had a few quick questions for you. I'm just looking at the pictures here online. This looks great. Are there
What are you talking about?
8406 Dowling Street?
Yeah, are you have a buyer who's an investor?
No, I'm a buyer.
Oh, you're the buyer. Okay, how I can help you, sir?
Yeah, I just had a
Want
few.
to buy a house to like an investment or to live in the property?
Yeah, I definitely don't want this to live in it. I'm looking for a rental.
Oh, okay, yeah. Are you gonna offer for price?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, because if you're gonna offer less, the seller is not gonna lower the price.
Well, I appreciate that transparency. I actually think the price is fair.
Okay. Are you gonna do that as a transaction or what? Regular 20% down or what is your?
Well,
how are you gonna-
I typically pay all cash. But yeah, yeah. Can I ask you a few quick questions about the property before we go into financing?
No, yeah, go ahead. What questions do you have?
Fantastic. I'm just wondering if there are any major repairs needed. I'm looking at the roof. It looks a little beat up.
The room is brand new.
Oh, it's brand new. Okay, the pictures you
Yeah.
should they look a little worn, but that's great news because I don't want to have to deal with that. Okay, and there's
So asking that, the house is remodeled, the kitchen is remodeled, the bathroom is remodeled, and a new room.
love it. Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. Great. Okay, now I'm just curious, is this vacant?
No, it's owner occupied.
Owner occupied. Okay, I see. And this house, this is an interesting looking house. I'm just curious, do you know why they're selling?
Why? Because they want to buy a bigger house.
Oh, they're upgrading. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Got it. And how fast are they trying to close?
30 days, or 10 days, or 15 days.
Oh, they want a super fast close. Okay, that's no problem. I can do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
You seem like you're in a hurry. Am I catching you at a bad time?
Questions you asking, I'm already answering. You have any more questions?
So let me tell you who I am and what I'm looking for, and I can let you go. I'm one of the biggest buyers in the Sun Belt. My partners and I were looking for properties to fix and flip. This, we're looking for a rental for sure. The way that we acquire these properties is we're looking at for low equity properties. In the situation like this, we're willing to pay out cash, the equity that the owner has, and we'll pay your commission as well. We want to assume that loan if that's something that your seller and you are open to.
So what? What do you want to do?
We're looking for low equity homes. How we handle these transactions is we pay out equity at your asking price. So we'll give your client what they're asking for. We will pay your commission and all closing costs, and then we would assume that loan. Is that something that your seller would be open to?
Who will assume the loan?
Our company.
It's a regular sale or it's a different kind of sale?
This is a low equity purchase. So we would be,
Yeah, no, I'm not. Can you take me out of your list? I'm getting phone calls every day about this. That's how this guy started, and they start talking, and then on the end you just say that the last thing is I'm not interested in that kind of stuff.
that must be,
Not like that. It's like my seller is not interested.
oh,
Just take me out of-
you've spoken to your
Yeah.
seller about this before then?
Yes, have another phone call today. Can you take me out of your list for that, please? I'm not interested in that. And
Okay.
the seller is not either. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
And then there's that type of agent.
Another agent you don't want to work with.
Well, these people, some of them have been hit up so many times.
Yep. All right, guys.
Yes, little letter A, that's definitely a hell no.
That is definitely a hell no.
Hell no.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's unfortunate because, there's probably a lot of people hitting her up, and I can actually perform on it. So that's too bad. All right, guys. We're at 4:08.
Sometimes I just lead with an offer,
Yeah, that's just not
The,
good.
the thing about that, it's hard for them not to address it.
It's just gonna sit on the market because that one wasn't exactly retail ready. All right, let me call on something that's not in freaking
Dylan, are you an agent?
Oakland. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna call again. Call another house. This one's been on the market for 170 days. It's probably going to be a similar conversation, or hopefully not. And the reason that we're stacking data is to avoid calls like that, because with calls are with information that people aren't aware of. Those are the deals that I'm looking for. This one obviously is probably in prop stream as an active listing, the one that I just called on. So that's probably why she's getting hit up so much. All right, one more call. We're not going to end like that.
Yeah, one more call, then we'll do some data list stacking.
Sounds good.
We've got enough time.
Sounds
This
good.
one might be the one you close on the first call, right?
You never know.
3. Five, 1, 0, 9, 8, 8, 3, 1, 1, 2.
So with the latest one I'm working on, I called the realtor and the question I asked was, what's the next chapter for your seller? And she said, he's going to assisted living. And I said to
5,
myself,
1, 0.
bingo.
You still there? Are you muted? She's not picking up. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, she's got an autoresponder. Can you hear me, Gary? I don't know if I can hear you. I've got you turned up. Gary, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just reading questions here. Mayarissa, please ask your question where everybody can read it. Well, the bottom line, Jakeem, is that question got me the motivation.
All right, so let's see. Jermaine, so on 60 or 90, would you go direct to seller? If they're standing in my way and I really want it, I might. But if there's an agent involved, I'm gonna go to the agent. I've been calling lots, blah blah blah. Okay, guys, any questions about what we're talking about today so far? Gary, you want to jump into stacking?
I can.
If you have names and addresses, they're probably going to take it down on YouTube.
We're
Share
not
your
gonna
screen.
do-
I'll be right back.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm even in. I gotta make sure that I'm in the MLS.
Your co-host, is it gonna? No.
Yeah, I'm co-host, so
Okay, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
all right. So I'm going to share my screen, guys, and I'll just show you this process. You don't necessarily have access to everything I have access to, but you can partner up with realtors to get access to some of this data. So here's an MLS, one of the several that I subscribe to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and pull some cities here. I'm going to go pull. These are all in San Bernardino County, California. Yucca Valley, Morongo Valley, Joshua Tree, and let's see, is it 29 Palms? So that's going to give me 528 listings, and I'm just going to focus on single family, condominium, and townhouse.
Ooh, pull me a list.
What?
I said, ooh, pull me a list.
I'm going to have to start charging you for this. You got to offset some of the costs of the 3 MLSs I'm paying for every month.
How much is MLS every month?
They vary, some 50 to, well, I think maybe the least expensive is 40, but 40 to 75 a month for 3 of them I'm subscribing. So I'm just going to export these.
I mean, do I have to type my question in the chat? I have one. If you can answer it right now.
What's the question in chat? I can't see chat while I'm doing
Oh
this.
no, I didn't put in the chat. I was just wondering, but it's better to just ask you now. I talked to an agent earlier today, and he said he will give me access to his MLS.
Yeah, so they can, realtors can add called administrative users. The other thing I can do is this particular, and the reason why I like Flex, and I try to find the MLS with this software because I can create portals for my clients, and many of them don't have the kind of this is really great sharing capability among all of the software, different types of software. But do me a favor, Jerry, let me focus on what we're doing here for a
Yeah.
moment.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
All right. So I just exported that to, it's in my downloads file, and I have all this crap open here. Let me just clean things up a little bit. So I'm going to do a new workbook in Excel. I'm going to import that text file, which is here. And I'm going to transform the data here because if I don't, I'll have some issues. A lot of realtors get the parcel numbers wrong. Like here's a bad one. Here's a bad one. This is the correct format here. I'm going to just, well, let me do this. Let's get rid of all the blanks. Get rid of these oddballs because they're not going to import, and I'm not going and physically hunting for them right now. Every county has its own set format that these have to be. And I'm going to be importing this into eventually into PropStream. What, let me, I forget. I just realized that I've forgotten and logged out. Here, let me look at APN format. So it's 4324 with these little dashes. If PropStream doesn't have it in that correct format, it won't import them. So I picked a more complex one than I probably should have for a quick demo, but it is what it is. I've done it already. So here we go. And one of the problems with this county is that it has BD, right? We should be right about here. There we go. Parcel. Here's the parcel number. I'm going to insert. So I have to transform this. So I have to use a formula. I don't expect you guys to really be able to do this, but if you want to take notes.
Just watch the replay.
What's that? Yeah.
Just watch the replay.
You could go to Patrick's. This one will be on Patrick's YouTube channel.
Or do what I do. Find somebody smarter than you.
Yeah, get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
So what was that format again? 4324. So, oops. 4324. 4. This is called string manipulation. So 4-3. So this one is going to start at 5.
Maya Risa Gomez. I don't understand the question. Can you re-ask it?
Four, 3, 2, 4, 8, 7. So this one's going to start at 8 and 2. Four, 3, 2, and then this will be okay. What did I screw up? Oh,
So remember,
right.
guys, these parcel numbers, this is like the social security number of a property. And this number will allow you to cross-reference with other programs like PropStream and Batch. So we like to use PropStream because it shows mortgage and transaction history. I also use Privy sometimes. What I've noticed is that with like newer builds, I can't always find it in PropStream, but Privy will have it. So sometimes I bounce back and forth between the two. But I mean, if you're in, like, I was in a city in Texas, I was looking at, somebody brought me a Subto lead, and what I noticed was all the builds were like 2021, 2022, 2023. So what does that tell you? If it's on market in those areas, well, they're probably paying their loan off just like everybody else. So they probably didn't make a significant down payment, and they probably have a low interest rate.
So what I've done here is I've got the column of the numbers I need in the format I need them. And now I need them in a different format to paste into, well, to import it into. So the last properties, well, I'm just going to reuse an old one. And I'm going to paste over this. Let me paste the values. Nope, it's not doing what I want.
I think this may be our sexiest Zoom we've ever had.
What's that?
I think this may be our sexiest Zoom we've ever had.
Sexy Zoom, how do you figure?
These spreadsheets, I mean, I think we might be turning some people on with these spreadsheets. That's sarcasm, guys. In the chat, give me a lull. Thank you, Jakima.
Something here, something went way wrong here in my sheet. I lost my data.
But this is like, guys, once you learn how to do this, because you have to understand that PropStream has about 30%, from my account, 30% accurate data, which means that for every 10 properties, it's only showing you 3 of those properties that are active. So all those knuckleheads out there just using PropStream, like that one agent that I called, I can almost guarantee that one's listed in PropStream as an active listing.
This is, I don't know, I screwed something up pretty bad here.
Well, it seemed like you had them.
Yeah, I had them for a second, but I don't know.
Can you just go back?
Yeah, finally, let me do it. Yeah, I have to redo this again.
You can't just Control Z.
No, I don't know what happened. Something with the paste.
Well, while we're watching this, guys, any questions in the chat? How many of you guys have actually called on a creative deal or a creative opportunity? Say yes in the chat. If you haven't, say no. Okay, we got some no's and yeses. I fumbled with a creative deal. Yesterday was my first call. Nice, Christian. Good work. Lots of calls. Very few people open to creative. Might be the way that you're delivering it, my friend. How many calls did I make, guys, today? 4 or 5? How many did I get say they might be open to it? Is the way that you present yourself has a lot to do with it.
What was that? 4-3. I picked the wrong one to 4-3-2. All right. I just definitely picked the wrong one to do a demo with. That was dumb.
All good. In the chat, I'm gonna put some scripts for you guys. I've already posted this before, but I'm gonna do it again. For those of you who don't know what to say, or maybe you're a little, scared. And if I were you, I would take those scripts and make them your own. Put your own, put your own spice on it. Remember this phrase, guys. Write this down. If somebody asks you a question you don't know the answer to, say, my role in the company is to gather as much information as we can so that our underwriters can make an educated decision. I don't have an answer for you now, but next time I talk to you, I will. All right. I call it defining your role in the company. Jakima says, how are you finding the mortgage info in non-disclosure states? I think you could still find it in PropStream in like Texas. And if not, call the agent. I mean, generally you want to be taking a targeted approach.
The sale prices are what's not recorded, but the loans are recorded, right?
Yeah, it should be. I believe I've seen them on there.
Okay, let's see if I have any luck this time.
Jermaine says you need to do a reverse calculation. You will need realtor to provide seller price. Sounds correct to me.
So guys, something to make a note of here, that the combination of state, county, and APN number makes up the unique identifier across the country. Those 3 pieces of data gives you a unique identifier for every property in the United States. So that's essentially what we're doing here, is just creating. So all I need is the state, the county, and that APN number to identify the property. So I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to go to PropStream.
Wait, you just need the state, the APN, and what?
The state, the county, and the APN.
Oh, you don't need the address?
No.
Well, hell.
And if addresses are really fussy to try to import those.
100%.
So I'm going to import a list here. I'm going to choose that file, the one I just worked on. I'm going to create a new one that's YB 29 JT, I'll call it. And I'll do what's today, 8/15, is it? 8/14. So I know what's in it, and I'll click save, and that may take a few minutes to process. So by the way, if you want to be able to import into PropStream, you have to have what's called the list automator feature, which is of course extra. But just to give you one, here's a one from yesterday. Everything in Coachella, the town of Coachella, and in Riverside County, which is out here in the desert near me.
You can't show that.
We know that everything on this list, all 36 of them, are on market because they just came from on market. But PropStream only sees 24 of them as on market. But you know, I've tuned in my low equity settings so I can get right from all 36 right to the 2 that are low equity. Similarly, let's see if
Gary, if
let's
you
see-
we
what's that?
this information is going to get pulled down on YouTube if you share it.
If it's going to get what?
You can't share names and addresses. Let's go into
Okay.
Q&A. They get the point.
All right. So
Guys, what he just showed you is extremely valuable. I'm working on getting VAs to do this for me. And I'm working on getting MLS access to all the states that I'm buying in right now. Eventually, I'm going to be onboarding and hiring baby elephants to come on the team. We'll talk about that when I have more information. I don't have the onboarding on up yet. Rob says he's interested. And Rob, you know what? I'm interested in bringing you on, buddy, because I've seen your face in here quite often. You're consistent. And that's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm just looking for consistency. I'm looking for people who are hungry. And that's all it takes. Literally, guys. Don't underestimate part-time roles. All right, Mike. I don't know if I could have 2 curlies on the team.
so
I think-
mostly what we showed there was just code, right? So there wasn't only on that one screen, right?
We'll see.
Had some addresses,
We'll see.
but that's data. It's public data. So why should YouTube be upset about that? There was no phone numbers in there.
Yeah, I don't know. They're weird about it. All right, guys, let's chat. Let's pull somebody up here to talk. Anybody have questions or something they want to chat about? Let's connect.
Put a hand
What can we offer a real estate agent to share the MLS? Cash.
Gima, turn on your video so I can spotlight you.
How much? Well, if they're just going to give you access, I think $500 is worth it. $250, $500 is worth it. It's not a big deal for me. I mean, that's worth it. Total, yes. That's MLS access. But also think about this. I'm working with Gary. Every time I close a deal, he makes money. So partner up with those people. Find one who can do sub-2 deals. That's the smart way to go about it. Jakima, what's up, girl? I keep seeing you in these meetings.
Hi, yes.
What's up?
So I'm good. How are you, Patrick?
I'm amazing. Thanks for hanging out with us.
No problem. So my question to you was, because I sent you a lead, you emailed me, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna wait till the Zoom later to ask a question. But you gave me what it could be a deal at with the cash offer, and then you said 15K to the seller if it was to be a sub-2. But the thing that I can't understand is I don't really know like what the legal situation is with the seller and how, like, if cash is more important, or if you can actually assume his loan based on whatever his litigation thing is.
Yeah, so cash will always be more important regardless of the situation.
Okay.
Always. People will always say yes to cash because it's cash,
Okay.
right? But
Okay.
when you're filtering deals, the way that I look at it, like the deal that you brought me, I think it was like their asking price was like in the 90%.
Yeah, it was way high for it
So
to be
like,
a deal.
right. So in California, if I'm going to buy something and sell it, let's just say I buy a retail ready home. Well, I got to buy it at 83% of retail value if I'm going to make 10% on it. With all the closing costs and agent fees associated with buying the property, I'd have to come in at 83% to start.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at a deal and they want cash and it's above that 83%, then it's not, you're going to lose money on the deal.
Right.
And very rarely, there are very few investors that are going to pay large cash lump sums to hold on to a property.
Right.
Right. So in that case, if it's close to retail ready, well, they're not going to be motivated to sell it at a margin because they don't need to. Okay. And if it's retail ready, then I might be able to cash flow it because it's move-in ready. Then sub 2's an option.
Okay.
So it's smart to pitch cash to create context. And you'd have to be able to do it. Like, let's say you call the agent, hey, John, I know they're asking whatever, $199 for this house. But in order for me to make money, because you already know that I've got about 7% of agent fees, closing costs, holding costs, and then I've got, I want to make a 10% net on this. Well, I've got to buy it at 83% of its retail value. This is what I'd have to come in at. This is my cash offer. I understand that if that doesn't work for your seller, however, there is another option where I'd be able to pay your seller his actual equity at ask, but it would require me to assume his loan. I would pay your commission, your full commission, and all closing costs. Is that something that you might be open to?
Okay.
And then you let them talk.
Okay.
So when you guys are submitting offers, what I want to see, this is really important, guys, because I've been getting people submitting offers, submitting deals or leads, and there's no motivation, right? Or I don't really know that what's going on. You would have had to speak with the agent and or seller and have them interested in what your exit strategy is. So if it's a cash offer, they expressed interest at your maximal allowable offer, which should be anywhere from 60 to 70% if it's a cash deal. And if it's a creative deal, you've explained to them how it works, generally speaking, and they've expressed interest. Then at that
So
point,
if I, okay,
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead, Patrick. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Then at that point, it's my job to get on the phone and close.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was about to ask you with the numbers that you sent me. Like if they accepted either or, would that be something that you would be interested in dispoing or not?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If they say yes to either of those offers, I'll help you.
Okay.
But you want to soft pitch it. I spoke with my my partner who's buying in this area and all over the country. And so based off of the information that we have in front of us, there's two options here. We could give you cash, which I don't know if your seller is going to like it because it's way underneath your ask, but we're investors. We got to make 10%. Or we could pick this up on a different type of financing where we take over the loan and we pay him out as equity. We could give him whatever I said in the email.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, girl, keep grinding out there. I might hire you soon.
I will.
It's good to see you. All right, who else we got? We spent 90 minutes going through all that and you guys have zero questions. You guys are experts. Maybe there's smoke coming out of their ears right now. Daniel says, this is my first Elephant Challenge meeting. I'm a new gator from Texas. What are the dynamics of how your group works? I have a 9-to-5 job, so I'm trying to figure out how to add the Elephant Challenge gator my W-2. Any suggestions based on? So what I would do if I were you, Daniel, I would spend time early in the morning prepping lists and then come home and call those lists. If I were you, that's what I would do. Once you have a motivated lead, you bring it to us. Best lead source without prop stream. Redfin Privy. Why not prop stream? Why don't you want to use prop stream? We use prop stream. I've closed creative deals. I mean, guys, I've never recreated the wheel. I've always looked at what people are doing and try to make it my own and or improve it. But I mean, yeah, you could use Privy, but you're going to miss out on some information. I'm telling you that right now. I use both. I use Privy, PropStream. Redfin's not going to tell you anything about mortgage and transaction history, so you're going to be missing out on that. Jeff LaCourte says, call on lunch breaks. That's right. Grind, baby. And guys, I wasn't in the mood today to make calls. I'm going to be honest with you. I was not in the mood today. But you know why I did? Because I know what my goals are. And when you have clarity around what your goals are, you will be motivated when you don't feel like doing things. Does Privy provide mortgage information? Yes, it does, Daniel. It's not always as accurate in my opinion, but all right, guys, we're coming up on 4:40. Any other questions for us?
I have one, Gary. This is Luxley.
Lugsley, what's up, dude?
Put,
Hey,
put-
how you
put up your hand, Luxley.
Raise your hand, Luxley.
There, I see you.
Oh,
Okay.
he's in a dark room.
Dark, shadowy figure as always.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
giving his account of
Too
some-
much light behind you, man.
Yeah, my question, you mentioned in the creative deals, you would give them the equity. So let's say the house is 200,000 and the equity is 80. You would give them 80 cash. How would you formulate that?
I wouldn't give them 80 cash because that's above my 10% rule.
Okay.
So my goal is to pay out. I want my entry fee with all cash to seller, expenses, all of that to equal 10%. So in this case, number one, I probably wouldn't be calling that on that because it's not low equity. It's like higher equity. But if for whatever reason they came across my desk, maybe it was a lead that I was talking to and I pitched them, then it would be, I would do a hybrid where I would pay them 10% minus all my other expenses would be cash to them. So let's say you said that in this case, it's $200,000. So
Right.
my top end is 20K. So it's 20K minus everything else. That's cash to them. Now, the rest of it, I would subtract that from the 80K and then I would have them carry that in a note on seller finance. And if they wanted interest, I would probably try to match the note. Or I'd just give them interest or principal payments on that note because it's lower. But I want a cash flow. So as long as it cash flowed, I'd be happy. But I would not pay out 80K if it's 200K home.
Okay.
You're never gonna, so I would never do a creative financing deal where you could just get traditional financing terms, right?
So your rule of thumb is 10%.
10% entry fee, correct?
Okay.
Yep. Good to talk to you, Luxley. Luxley's over there closing deals like an animal. All right. Malosai? Malosai? How do you pronounce your name?
Malosi.
Malosi.
Malosi, what's up, dude?
Could you put on your video, please?
What's up?
Hey,
I'd
how's
like
it going?
to see
This
who
is
we're
my
dealing with.
yeah. This is my first Zoom meeting. I had a question about, I guess, getting a list of phone numbers to call, or like I have to have PropStream or Privy to do that.
Well, if you want to filter by mortgage and transaction history to identify a target, you will.
Okay.
So today, what we were demonstrating was how to find, basically, we're taking a list from the MLS, which was, is it 60 days or older on market? And then we take all that information and we plug it into PropStream to see which one of those opportunities are low equity. And then we're calling those because we're targeting sub 2.
Some of the other groups are
Okay.
providing lists, so check them out. And they're mainly focused on wholesale. We did this whole session today on creative.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, time flies when you're making calls, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. So look, I'm kind of running out of time here. I've got to
Let's
try to make some phone calls before it's 5 o'clock. People start wandering away.
Yep.
dare they?
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another amazing Zoom Elephant Herd Up. We will see you Wednesday on Gary's link. And yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We will see you then. We love all of you. Bye, guys.
All right, take care, guys.